All my days. Oh, okay. Today might be a long video today because I said today twice, but yeah. First time I pulled out my notebook in a while. Um, no, 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 no. Oh, I did not mean to sign out. Oh my god, I just signed out my YouTube channel. Oh, oh, I might be fucked. Anyways, day 156, I think. Um, but today was pivotal to say the least. Um, yeah, I don't know how else to break it to you, but I will be stepping away from ecom indefinitely. Um, Now there's no other way to go about this other than simply I do not resonate with it. I don't really enjoy it. No, I understand that a lot of people um, with business models are not concerned about whether they enjoy it or not, or nor do they really ever truly find passion in their work, but they do it for a more fulfilling desire, such as, oh, obviously the clear case, money, um, because obviously the money allows them, or the money brings forth greater things in their life, which I do not disagree with. But uh, business models like those, to me, they feel soulless. They feel unfulfilling, and that's basically the reason that I've taken this decision to stop doing that, or for as of right now, once again indefinitely, I will be stepping away from it, um, and I'm focusing on a new venture that is piqued my interest more or so creatively, and being able to get to roam around and express the way I see the world and how I want the world to portray my own creative ideas. And what better way than a clothing brand? Now, this may seem actually stupid, like this seems like a fucking joke to you, but I'm dead serious. Um, and you may ask, how did I come to this conclusion? Well, once again, it's more so that ecom wasn't resonating with me anymore. I no longer felt any sort of, just didn't enjoy it at all. And Lewis said, you know, what what what's worse than, why would you want to do something you just don't even like? He said, how is it any better than just a normal job, 9 to 5? You don't want to work 9 to 5, you hate it. Why would you want to do this kind of thing that you don't even like? That makes pretty much total fucking sense. I really didn't enjoy it one bit. I think for the past few months, I've just been convinced or almost just driven by trying to achieve results. Um, yeah, trying to achieve results with it because I kind of saw that as my only way out. Uh, and also, I just kind of had the pressure of not wanting to, give up because this is all really really was my only way out, and I didn't want to venture off into other business models. Um, which is a bit naive of me. This whole time, I really always thought, like, how are people always switching business models? I would see all these come up stories. Mind you, this is TikTok, not everything's real. I don't believe in any of it, but a common theme I see is, people always in the beginning switching up on their different business models. They say, oh, I tried this, I tried that, I tried that. I'm like, how are people trying this? I've been stuck into ecom for all this time. I just dived and dialed right into it. And yeah, I guess that was just naiveness of me, I didn't realize. Like even me truly, I don't even know what I truly want yet. My path is so uncertain for the future. So who am I to really tell what it's gonna look like? Or like, yeah, simply I just did not know what I wanted truly. And clearly I'm seeing now that ecom is not the path. Because I wasn't, you know, enjoying the way that the work is done, the way that you build stores so half-assedly. They're almost momentarily. They're just kind of phases. Nothing ever lasts. Everything's impermanent. Um, and there's no really any, you know, soul into it. It's all very just for the sake of conversion and sales, which is understandable. I have nothing against it, but that's not something that I would want to, that's not something I align with, nor do I want to even kind of attach that to the identity of my life. I want to create something with my absolute heart, something that I can be proud of, something that I genuinely enjoy, um, and that I can express my own creativity because I find myself to be a very creative person. Um, I'm not very, you know, by the books. I took a lot of art subjects in my life. I like to do art. I like all forms of art, whether that be music, whether that be drawing, whether that be, you know, any form of art that just lets people express themselves. And because that is truly the deepest form of humanity, you know, just the individuality of people is kind of what makes us so special as a species. And so, yeah, I don't know what other points I have to make, but yeah, ultimately, a clothing brand came to like my head, where I was kind of like analyzing all these other different business models. Like obviously, I this wasn't really a permanent decision. It was just kind of a back end idea because to be honest, I was scared. I was like, yo, I don't really like ecom, but I don't know what else to do. Um, I was talking it up with Lewis. There really wasn't anything else. And then a clothing brand came to mind. And at first I thought it was ridiculous. But then I realized, no, what the fuck? This is so possible. This is absolutely possible. And it's something that is so creatively, explorative, where everything's kind of dependent on your own vision and you get to determine everything. And it's more so about creating art than creating conversion, which is something that I think will be something I could genuinely take pride in. You know, e-com to me feels almost like scamming people, and that is not something that I resonate with. I don't necessarily this past few months. I necessarily didn't really want to do anything for the money. Um, that feels so shallow, mentally. And yeah, I like the joy that comes with just creation. At first, I thought of content creation. Going back to trying to make videos again, but it's a very competitive market. Clothing brands are very competitive as well. Um, but I feel like clothing brands are a much more explorative niche that you can really experiment with your ideas. While YouTube's also kind of becoming a much more competitive and conversion type of battle now with the Mr. Beastification of YouTube, where everyone's just trying to, you know, use the the virality formula, with short form content and everything. So it's slowly becoming a fucking slop shit show. Um, But yeah, clothing and fashion, I've always been into fashion. Uh, I do not call myself, I don't, I don't want to say I'm a fashion guy, but I've always been into fashion. Uh, ever since I, gained consciousness. And yeah, so I want to be able to create something that I resonate with, something that I enjoy, which is, and I really don't see any part of a clothing brand that I wouldn't enjoy. Any of the aspects, I love creation in all aspects, like I said. So, designing logos, designing, choosing a name, even just designing the pieces, the materials, the fabrics, the the sizing of everything and the proportions. Like I'm literally designing clothes, and clothes are a staple part of my life. I love once again I love fashion. Maybe not to a elite bowl knowledge level of expertise, but I think if you just like wearing clothes, you like expressing yourself with clothes, that is good enough. And I think yeah, you don't really need a crazy expansive knowledge on the fashion to be able to start a clothing brand. Um, but yeah, I have a few ideas in mind, and also something about starting a brand like this is for the past 155 days, I've showed nothing of my you know nothing of my actual progress. Everything is just comes from word of mouth. But with a brand, I feel like I can actually get you guys into a sneak peek of what I'm actually doing, because it's not so secretive. Uh, Everything's trademark, patent pending. E-com is very gate kept. You don't want to spill nothing. It's almost taboo to even reveal any of your actual secrets, and everybody's just so greedy in that industry, just trying to reap all the rewards for themselves. They don't want to handle. They don't want to tell you nothing. But I could be eating my words right now. Clothing brand, that industry could also be the same. People are just trying to gatekeep the things they're doing because obviously success. So why would you want to harbor your or kind of you know birth your own competitors when you could just stay at the top, which makes sense. But some brands, clothing brands, just do it just simply for the love of the game. You know, I've never met a guy who does e-commerce for the love of the game. You know, they all try to do it in the midst in the hopes of making money, which is yeah, fair enough, but it's not really the type of you know goal I'm chasing. Not really the true goal of my life to just make as much money as I can. Um, or not in that sense, I'm saying the ultimate goal is not money. Never will be. Uh, in the end, obviously, I want to be something that I'm proud of. I want to make something that I'm proud of, and I feel like a key staple of life is creation. Um, yeah, you are the most fulfilled when you can be happy about something that you've created, something you've contributed to, something you've taken part of, because you know that you've worked hard. Um, and I feel like passion will take you further than anything else ever, because you just not you don't do it just because you're disciplined and you have to, but you do it because you genuinely enjoy it. So for the time being, I'm trying to take this as more of just a passion project than just like trying to make money and making it a successful business model. Like I want this to just be something that I get to freely explore around with and experiment, and hopefully I can make something that I'm proud of. That is really the goal. And I literally have been it's currently 2:47 a.m., but I've just been looking around on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube for other brands that are kind of resonant with my idea. Um, because yeah, you gotta check out your competitors, check out the niche, check out what they're doing. Because in the end, even though e-com is not for me, I still did learn some valuable lessons from it, especially lessons in marketing, website building, um, yeah, how to run ads. What else? Yeah, stuff like that. It's just you know, I nitpicked a bit of stuff from ecom that I can apply, which is honestly, great life lesson. Taught me more about finance or shit like that, or taught me more about marketing than any other class or anything I've ever taken. But yeah, so that is that. Now you are caught up to speed. We can finally move on, I think. Any further questions? Comments down below, bro. Oh, see, I'm a proper YouTuber. But anyways, my original idea for this brand is, oh, it's freaking ups. It's backwards. Okay, the brand name is At Peace with the actual at. My idea is that I feel like all my life I've been very encapsulated and intrigued by modern philosophy and the psychology of the mind and uh, pursuit of efforts and all that. I'm yapping, but yeah. Point is, um, always been intrigued by that type of stuff where it's kind of like self help, inspiration. As corny as it sounds, you get the gist. I've read Atomic Habits. I've read them all, bro. I'm like the fruit guy. You show me a self help book, I've probably read it, or I probably know about it. But it's not just it sounds really performative, but I genuinely have a actual interest in this. Like it's so interesting to me, just kind of understanding different perspectives and how the mind works and the powers of it. It's truly the most powerful thing I've probably ever seen in my fucking life. Like placebo, you don't know about the powers of placebo. It's crazy. But yeah, I've always been intrigued in self improvement. As a kid, I've been very insecure. So, I took to reflection in myself, and self improvement to try and, just better myself as a person. It was never meant to really truly be anything bigger than that. Just self improvement and trying to be the best person I could possibly be, because that's really what I wanted. It's all I really wanted for myself in the end. And now it's kind of, those years of adversity where I'm figuring shit out by myself mentally. It's brought me to a place of, you know, of higher state of being, where I'm just, I feel like I can reflect and look at things from a different perspective that I feel like not a lot of people have been able to adopt such a mentality. I'm not saying I'm a special fellow who's one of one, but like I feel like I've been able to um, see things through more clearer, um, with kind of taking myself out the equation and just looking at it from a very outer worldly perspective. Um, just simply observing and not absorbing. That was a stutter and a half. Simply observing and not absorbing. Because yeah, just through all these years of, I won't say rigorous, but just helpless self reflection. Always questioning the way I am, why the way I am, and what that really means. Yeah, through that I found a lot of you know real values that I've continued to hold through this day, and that's something that I want to reflect out to the world. And yeah, in a clothing brand, something that is deeply rooted within my interests as well, being able to enjoy fashion and all that. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. My ideas for it, I have a little. It's like a little brainstorm. This honestly, I feel like fucking Kai Cenat right now. I'm Vivette all over again, but I'm Vivette part two. But gotta do what you gotta do, bro. So just I really like the streetwear blend. I like the even though it's kind of like the ideas and the visuals are gonna contrast. Um, I have seen it as a trend. Not to say I'm trend writing, but it's definitely not something that's not been done before. The idea of contrasting visuals and identity, brand identity, has definitely been a thing. People do make streetwear all the time, but they do have quite the backstory to, you know, to follow along with it, even though the visuals do not match at all. Um, so yeah, just because I like the visuals of streetwear, you know, really nothing more to that. I could kind of nitpick and try and go through a different niche that may sort of make sense more with the brand identity, but then again, I'd just be simply, venturing off into a completely different unknown world that I have no, knowledge in or passion in, to be honest. Um, yeah. So not crazy streetwear, we're just looking at, baggy shit, crop proportions, making sure it stays clean, um, neat. I don't want it to be too over exaggerated. It's going to be quiet, but still, provide a statement. I think it'll be very simple, effective, and almost like, catches your eye. Like it's blank nearly, but then you kind of see some subtle design. You're like, damn, it's a nice shirt, nice thermal, nice long sleeve, whatever. You know, and it's gonna portray a lot of symbolism. I think it's gonna reflect a lot of just symbols. I think there are a lot of symbols used within the Buddhist tradition and philosophy that kind of depict certain values and traits of the universe. Um, and in terms of marketing, I know this. I'm kind of getting a little ahead of myself, but yeah, I have big ideas for this project. In terms of marketing, I want professional graded shots, and I wanted this to be, you know, not just some TikTok brand that does flat lays on concrete parking lots and just takes videos, but something that really stands out and reflects a bigger oh, yo, no, cut that out. Reflects a bigger message. Holy shit. It's 3 a.m. I need to go to sleep soon. Oh, okay. Yeah. But that is just an idea for now. Obviously subject to change. Um, Probably will change. Or yeah, might steer a little bit in directions, but yeah. Introducing, things such as the yin and yang symbol of balance and karma and that really reflects the true statement of being at peace, which is something that yeah I've been striving towards all my life, and I'm still figuring out to this day because life is guaranteed gonna hit you with problems. You can never avoid problems. Being at peace does not mean that you are just free from every problem. It is just that you're able to accept it for what it is, and it does not tamper with you. That is what it means to truly be at peace. And I hope that message can somehow, some way reflect within this brand. Yeah, I'm honestly enjoying every step of the way right now. This might just be the 3 a.m. motivation or you know, the initial high rise into learning a new thing. I saw this one graphic where it's like, you know, the kind of phases of trying to develop a new skill where it's like you go all the way up, spike all the way up, and you reach the peak, and then it's called the mountain of stupid because it's like you learn enough of the basics to where you think you know everything, and that you can kind of LARP your way into people's conversations like by spitting enough ball knowledge to where it's like you are basically expertise. But if anyone asks you anything deeper than that, you could not really, go into full detail. And then once you start exploring the topic more that you're learning, you reach the valley of despair, where it's literally like you're at the peak of it and then you just drop right back to zero. And people, apparently most people just quit at that point because they think, this is like, I'm getting worse at this and I'm just doing absolutely horrible and everything's like, I don't know anything. It's kind of where you realize like there's so much more out there than you thought. And then initially you thought you mastered it all, but there's just so much more to it. Um, and then eventually, through hard work, rigorous effort, you eventually reach that. It was something enlightenment, but it takes consistency, and you slowly work your way back up to where you're finally honing your craft. Um, but yeah, I don't want to take this too seriously. It is a passion project. I'm gonna start learning how to make. So after that, we have the brand name. We need to do the logo. As much as this didn't matter in ecom, which I thought it did. Ecom basically is trying to start your own brand. But the product isn't yours. The brand isn't even really yours. All in the it's all in the eyes of conversion. Soulless. But yeah, this brand. I don't know if I'll develop a logo. It's very modernized, simple. Um, but yeah, we'll see. I haven't thought about a logo yet, but I like the normal at peace. It's a very modernized, stylized, just like chill logo, and I think it reflects that quietness. It's just very quiet. It's tame. That's supposed to. It's not meant to be crazy appealing. It's chill, and it's There's like a word I'm missing. It's I don't know. It's yeah. It's just chill. But we'll figure that out later. Then I started need to make mock-ups of designs, and then eventually tech packs, which are just very, very in detailed uh, mock-ups, which explain the proportions, the size, the design, how it's gonna be laid out. Is it gonna be screen printed? Is it gonna be embroidered? Is it gonna be just like attached on type shit like that? The actual design details of it and the sizing and all that. Then that gets sent to a manufacturer. Yeah, so today I've been really just learning about the process of how a brand like this operates. I might be missing some stuff, but from what I can tell, yeah, same process for mock-up, take pack, manufacturer, sample, marketing, and then kind of the marketing is kind of very vague. It's marketing. The world of marketing is always different, unique. So it's really your own path you want to take. You can do pre-orders. You can buy bulk units. And sell them out like normal, print on demand, all that. It depends on. Just really depends on the way you want to approach it. But yeah, definitely will not be doing any sort of drop shipping method. I would like to be my own inventory. I would like to keep my own inventory. I like to keep my own supply because, yeah, I think I want to also bring some exclusivity to it. That way it builds hype because obviously I have no social proof. I don't have no testimonials, no nothing, so I can't really um, provide any hype without some sort of factors such as exclusivity and yeah. So if I can hone in on marketing, which I already have some ideas for somehow, yeah, it'll be pretty cool. Um, just yeah, trying to take some messages from real, you know, cool visuals of things that have impacted my life and could somehow impact yours. Um, I want this brand to be not a crazy impactful message, but something that people might resonate with, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the message, but more just the clothing. Then that's a win in my book. And yeah, that's about it. That's as much as I've done so far. Basically, just I've told everybody. I mean, I've leaked everything to you guys, so I'm currently an open book. Uh, but yeah, indefinitely, this is just what I want to do right now. I feel like I still have time as an 18-year-old to just figure it out, fuck around, see what I want to do, see what I like, what I don't like. Because yeah, this is my life, so I should be the one to decide how I want to live it, and I don't want to live it doing things I don't like. So that is all for today. We have hit it off at 3:02 a.m. This is a 29-minute video, but I feel like the most pivotal moments of my life that I record are always the longest. Like I have that 1 hour video, definitely a pivotal moment in my life. I would say that was the last big change in my life, which is what, day like 90 something? Yeah, 86, day 86. We are another 80 days, nearly another 80 days beyond that. Um, yeah, so shout out Lewis. You know, he's helping really open my eyes up to the world as we know it. And yeah, that is all. It's day 156. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. Oh, now the ending of peace makes so much more sense now. Yeah, day 156. Peace.